Hi again, this is now the 6th video in the tutorial web scraping of the course Digital Economy and Data Analytics. My name is Eik van Vuren, and in the previous videos we have already seen how to do web scraping based on actually a fake website. That was this fake Python jobs website. However, now what we would like to do is to go on and ask ourselves the question, what in the case we have a real website? Well, we should realize that at the moment that we're going to look at many real websites, that they are a little bit more complicated. And one of the reasons with respect to that is that many even static websites have something called JSON code. I have already touched upon JSON code before because of the fact that I already told you that JSON code looks a lot like the dictionaries that we do have in Python. And in addition to that, I already said that JSON code is actually related to JavaScript, so therefore actually related to dynamic websites. But we should take into account that even a lot of static websites do have JSON code. And even though this makes the analysis maybe a little bit more complicated, it's also going to be very helpful for us in order to do our web scraping. And let's, in that sense, look at a particular example. And what we're going to do is that we're going to look here at a website from the Dutch so-called BOVAG. That's an organization, and people from the Netherlands actually might already recognize this acronym because of the fact that that's an organization for car dealers, sellers, and repair shops. And because of the fact that this is a Dutch acronym, I will pronounce it also in Dutch, and I will refer to it as being BOVAG. Well, what we then can do with respect to their website is that we can actually try to, scrape their website as well. But because of the fact that that website is based on JSON code, the first thing that we need to do is to import a particular library, and that is called JSON. Then, in addition to that, we also have to import other libraries like request as well as beautiful soup, and we're going to do that by using this BS4 library that we have already seen before. And then what we're going to do is that we then are going to look at the URL of BOVAG, and that is this one that we have over here. However, at this stage we are not that much interested in the full website with respect to BOVAG, but instead what we would like to do is that we would like to look at cars, because of the fact that, well, we should realize that this, of course, is an organization of car dealers, sellers, and repair shops. And even though there is also a lot of information about them there on their website, one of the nice things with respect to this BOVAG website is that it has actually a lot of cars that are at a particular moment for sale by these car dealers, sellers, and repair shops. And at this moment in time, I'm not going to look at all the different cars. I'm just going to look at one particular car that I found on this website, and that is this Toyota Yaris Cross. It has some additional information that we have over here, but we will look a little bit more into detail of this Toyota Yaris that we have over here. And therefore what we are going to have is, in the end, is that we're not going to focus on this URL that we have over here, but instead we are going to look at a full URL which is based on the original BOVAG URL that we have over here. So therefore we again are going to have here an F in front in order to do manipulation with respect to a string. So that implies that we start actually with respect to this website that we have over here. Then we need to, in addition to that, we need to have two additional, I would say, words over here. The first is auto, which is Dutch for car. The second is aanbod, which is Dutch for supply. And then in addition to that, we actually need this this particular URL for the particular car that we are interested in. That implies that we are going to get quite a complicated URL in the end, but that is the URL that we are interested in. If you actually go to it, well, don't do that anymore because of the fact that most likely this car is already sold at the moment that you're watching this video, but take into account that then you will actually see a lot of information about this particular car. Well, in order to get that into Python, what we can do is that we can at least get the HTML code into Python, We can do that by using a variable page car, and for that we need a request, and we're going to get it by using this function get that we have over here, and then we are going to have as an input over here. We of course are going to use our URL that we have just constructed by this line of code that we have over here. And that's not the only thing that we of course would like to do. We also would like to do web scraping, and for that we again are going to use Beautiful Soup, and that implies that we're going to create an instance of Beautiful Soup that we're going to call soup in this case, and it has two arguments, of course. The first again is the page card's content, so just the HTML code of this page card that we have over here. And again, because of the fact that it's HTML code, we need to have this HTML parser that we have over here. Well, now what I will not do is to go into the details of the HTML code. It looks actually quite complicated, but you have to believe me that when I actually did that for a long period of time, that I found out that there is a line, well, in fact, a block that is called script, and that has as a type applications and then /ld plus JSON. And this is actually what we would like to have because of the fact that that contains JSON code. So therefore what we're going to do is that we're going to have a script tag, a variable script tag, which we are going to get by using our original soup that we have created over there. And then we are going to find, this block that we have over here. Well, then what we can do next is that essentially this contains only JSON code, JSON script. We should realize that we do not really want to have, and therefore what we're going to do is that we are going to actually transfer that JSON script into a Python dictionary, because of the fact that JSON scripts are actually not directly loadable into something interesting in Python, but we can actually transfer it towards a dictionary, and we are going to do that by using the function JSON loads, and then we simply are going to get the string of this script tag that we have over here. So we're going to get the script tag and then dot string in order to get in fact the string of this script tag that we have over there, and then we are going to put that into this as an argument into this JSON loads function, and then essentially this is now going to be a dictionary, a Python dictionary that in fact is going to get the same kind of information as the JSON script that we originally had. And then in order to print that, we are going to use this JSON dumps that we have over here. Well, don't look too much at these things that we have over here, but in the end, if we are going to then print it out, then we are going to get this as a result. And even though this might look at first a little bit difficult, you immediately see that there is a lot of interesting information over here that concerns the particular car. For example, we see here that, the manufacturer in this case is Toyota. Actually, the brand is also Toyota, but we even get a little bit more of information, such as, for example, the name of the model, which we already knew was a Yaris. We also get the color of the particular car, but we see even here that price is listed of the particular car, 26,294 euros. And if we scroll down a little bit even more, then we do, for example, see here that we get here, for example, where the dealer is situated. We also get the name of the particular dealer, and we get more information, such as, for example, information about the engine, as well as, for example, even the mileage of the particular car. And finally, if you're interested in that, you can even see here the max speed of the particular car. So this already gives us quite a lot of information about the car that we are at the moment interested in, this Toyota Yaris. So the question then arises, how can we actually get that information into Python? Well, that's actually quite simple, because of the fact that we should realize that this actually is already a particular Python variable, namely it's a dictionary. And that implies that we can actually get quite easily things from this particular dictionary. For example, at the moment that you would like to get the model, then the only thing that we need to do is to have the results, because of the fact that our dictionary was called the results, and then actually, subscribe that with respect to this model that we have over here. So that implies that if we go then all the way down over here, then on the next page we can print actually out the model, for example, by results and then subscripting model. That gives us, of course, that it's a Yaris. We can also get the color. So then at that moment in time we go back to here again and look at the color. That means that the only thing we need to do, instead of results model, we can actually have results color. That gives us width in this case. That is, of course, nothing else as white in Dutch. And that implies that we have here a white Yaris, and we can get that color by simply writing print result and subscripting color. Of course, we can do exactly the same thing at the moment that we would like to get the brand of the particular car. But take into account now that if we're going to do that, then, of course, what we can do is that we can also subscript result with respect to brand. But we should take into account that in this case, brand actually by itself is also a dictionary. It's a dictionary that actually has two different keys. First of all, this type that we have over here, which has a value simply equal to brand, and it has another key, and that is name, and that has a value equal to Toyota. Well, we're not that much interested in this thing that we have over here, but we are more interested in, of course, knowing whether this is a Toyota or not. And that implies that at the moment that I would like to get the brand in this case, then I have to do a little bit more of, subscripting, not just the brand itself as I did over here, but I have to then do subscripting brand first and then name after that. And that actually would give me Toyota, because if I just print out result and then subscript just brand, then I actually get the full dictionary as I have listed it over here. We can do exactly the same thing at the moment that we would like to get the price. That is actually in the dictionary offers. So if we scroll here, then we do see that we have a particular different dictionary here, which is called offers. We can get that from results offers, but take into account that that one is actually pretty large, because it starts here and it ends up somewhere over here. And it has a lot of information that we might not be that much interested in, but we are mainly interested here in the price. So therefore what we need to do is that we should not just subscript offers, but also in addition to that price, in order to get the final price. And that is exactly what I have done over here. And then we do actually find out that the price is equal to 26,294 euros. Oh, well, what we can do is that we can play around a bit with respect to this in order to get even more information with respect to the car.